So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of the Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. How we doing, John?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you for
Today,
asking.
here's what we're going to get into. Today, we're going to talk about launching like a parallel program to your gym or to your personal training services that is branded on its own. It's a separate thing. And this is something that John and I are tinkering with for our own sake. And it's something we see out there, other versions of this that go on. But launching a club, a community group, if you will, based around fitness or something fitness adjacent. First off, for the sake of doing good in your community is thing one. But one of these ancillary benefits of this is it can be a feeder to your personal training, to your online coaching, or to your gym as far as memberships and classes, etc. This is how we kind of start spreading fitness to people that aren't quite ready or don't think that they're ready to join a gym. So for this case study, John, we'll just fucking get right into it. I don't know what we're doing. You know where we're at. This case study right now is for what I am doing. John and I, both of us are doing for these. It's called the Slow Dudes Running Club. The idea of this really, we just wanted to get guys to do some cardio. I guess. I don't know. It's really just a way to get guys more active. And I want this to be like an approachable, no judgment thing, that this is not for performance running. This isn't even really running for weight loss. This is like we're like, it's like you can run, you can walk, you can do it on your own. You do whatever. But we found that in the way that we communicated this for John and I's sake, this is men, right? Communicating this to our demographic, which is men aged 30 to 60, who are, say, 20 to 150 pounds overweight. That's kind of our target demo. Guys like that just don't really know where to start. And I think they still have in their brains this idea that they need to start running or something, because that's what they used to do or whatever, or maybe anytime they tried to run, they'd hated it so much. So this sits as a challenge. I also think it's an opportunity for them to do some of this stuff on their own while having a little bit of accountability. So what we're doing for the Slow Dudes Running Club is I am launching this in my place. There's an Aberdeen, South Dakota version, and John is launching one in Waynesboro, Virginia.
That's right.
But what we're going to be doing is essentially starting March 1st, we're just going to be meeting up maybe once a month in our communities, trying to get some guys together to just, it's a no judgment space. It's not like all of my copywriting around this thing is running slow. Don't run fast. Yeah. Don't even be good at running. If you're good at running, if you're good at running, be bad at running while you're with us. Like that's kind of the move. Pretend. And some of the principles that I use in this actually is from, a friend of mine, coaching colleague and client over the years is Ben Skutnik. It's a Skutnik. I don't know what it was Skutnik Performance, but Skutnik's on Instagram. He follows some of our stuff. But when I had first started trying to get a little bit of extra conditioning in for kickboxing, he gave me a nice little tip, which I should have known as a fitness professional. But he goes, don't worry about running distance and don't worry about running fast. Set a time, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, and just do whatever is not walking, which is like bouncy walking or like and he said, just check that box. It's slightly more impact, a little bit more work than just walking for 30 minutes. And you'll see how much ground you cover very quickly as far as like progress, like how much better you get at that very quickly. And I started that. It was great. Like it wasn't hard. It wasn't as boring. I won't walk. I just won't fucking walk. It sucks. I don't like walking. It's not a thing. It's a attention span. We're not getting anywhere quickly. So I didn't mind this because it seemed like it felt like it was running, even though it definitely is not. I'm out here running 15-minute miles. But I wanted that to be the thing that I'm teaching to these guys. It's the one thing that in this program I want the guys to be able to do, which is running can be approachable once you stop setting these weird fucking goals that are about speed and distance, or you get running and you think, I'm not going fast enough. You start striding out, and then these people got to walk every 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. So basically taking that idea of how this idea of me as a nearly 300-pound man can do some running regularly. And I wanted to kind of introduce that to some dudes as a way that like maybe getting into the gym from day one is to lift weights is maybe not for everybody, or it's at least not in their mind right away. But getting out and doing a little running 10 minutes is something that I think people can maybe get on board with.
Well, and it's one of those things. Have you ever Have you ever tried to run on a treadmill, Tyler, at our
Can't
size?
do it. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah.
So I broke 3 treadmills at the gym because I was like, there was a stretch where I was like, all right, I'm gonna run, and I got myself to like an 8-minute mile, which is like the
Yeah.
fastest. So we're talking like 300 pounds, 6'5", right, 8-minute mile, and I had to start getting mentally prepared to where my treadmill could just shut off.
Oh,
'Cause
you're ready for the wheels to stop turning.
Like it stops, like it just shuts off, and every once in a while it would warn you where it would be like just enough of a jerk because you have that pace that's set for you.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking like the real fancy treadmills that like are run. You are the one that propels it. This is we're getting you up to 7 miles an hour, and you are on the rat race. You are off to the races. You better
Yeah.
keep up.
And when that
And-
stops, you fucking like a Looney Tunes.
Oh,
Just
you-
fly
you-
right
it's-
forward. Yeah.
And so that's when I learned really quick. I'm like, oh, like a regular gym, like the hospital gym I was going to, treadmills are not made to be ran fast on. If you're 300 plus pounds, like you are going to break that shit.
Yeah.
So that's also not real. So that's one of those things too. Cause and this is working with this group of people, not only is like, it's running is one of the first things everybody that I talk to, it's where their brains go. Like for a normie, it's like, yeah, I gotta get out and maybe I'll like pick up jogging or some shit like that. It's like, dude, you will explode every single joint that you have
Yeah.
if you start moving that big body. Like you're gonna be in a whole lot of pain, and you're gonna be in pain, and then you'll give up and you'll fall off the wagon.
And instead of us doing what we have done as fitness professionals and trainers, we try to like convince people that that's not how they should start, right? You should just diet
Right.
down. Let's get in the gym, let's lift some weights. It's more bang for your buck, especially for weight loss and physique goals. It's hard to market yourself when you are constantly trying to subvert somebody's initial, what's the word, John? You're trying to subvert somebody's impression of their own worldview, right? If
Yeah.
you're out there trying to say like, well, you're wrong, you shouldn't be running, you fucking dumbass. Why don't you do this? It's more bang for your buck. That creates an adversarial relationship when you're making copywriting. That's like me when I talk to you guys here as gym owners and be like, if you fucking suck, okay, that's a little off-putting, right? You're still here, but it's a little off-putting. So if I'm the fitness professional that's sitting here like shitting on everything that everybody says and everybody's like uneducated, impressions of what they should do in fitness, I'm going to sound like a dickhead. And to them, I'm not going to sound any different than some other elitist, too cool for school, know-it-all trainer who doesn't understand the plight or the mindset of a fucking beginner. So what we did with the Slow Dudes Running Club is we go, okay, there's some guys that think that it's something they could do, that they should do, or that they want to do. These guys all actually need the product that I kind of think is what they need the most, which is, let's talk diet. Like, let's get you enthusiastic about improving yourself. But I can then teach some weight loss stuff. There's opportunities for me in this to get a bunch of guys together who are my demographic, who are now going to start trying to make themselves better. But when they feel how good it feels to make progress, they're willing to invest further. And that's where I can start to sell nutrition coaching, personal training. We don't want to, when somebody has momentum of thought, does that make sense? We don't want to come in and put up a barrier to that. We want to take that momentum and level it up, move it, start to direct it somewhere. And it's a persuasion tactic that isn't best done conversationally. It's best done for the long term, which is, I think I want to try and run. It's like, you fucking should not be. But how about instead of that, it's, hey, let me show you how to run. So it's not going to fuck you up. You're not going to get bummed out. You're going to get the most out of it. And then you're going to be around other people. And now we have something. We start to build a community and interest and buzz with this program. That's the first thing that I started doing while laying out the copy on some of the intro stuff, which is make it approachable, make it funny, make it not cunty or elitist or about being better. It's literally like, we suck and we're slow. And I wore shoes for my run yesterday, John, that the whole front was hanging. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, I don't even have anything for this.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here we go.
And what I like the most is that it stays consistent. And if you've been listening to us for the last several episodes and since our start, you'll always notice there is a theme of going to people where they are.
Yeah.
And that's what I like the most. So when we work with a gym owner and say, or a personal trainer, and now we're going to work with them from a consulting side of things, we never want you to add more shit. And I feel like that's a big differentiator. A lot of times it's you're going to work with other groups. They're going to give you just a whole bunch of shit. Now we're going to plug a whole bunch of new things. And now your success is going to be dependent upon all this new shit you've added. And one of the biggest things that I feel like really sets us apart is, what do you got? Let's make what you've got work better. Because that's what most of you already have everything you need. It's just the order in which you're doing it, how you're going about doing it is wrong. So going to the person that you want to work with, where are they at, and then starting them there. That's what I like about this the most, because this is a population of dudes that for the most part, they're just not going to a CrossFit gym.
So it's any gyms. Well, none of these guys, none of the interest that I've got from anybody is people that are in any gym at all. This has almost been a way for me to get people to start giving a shit. These are guys that are stuck at the starting line and aren't quite doing anything. And I set that March 1st thing out because around here you just can't do anything this time of year outside. It's like there's guys who go, okay, March 1st, I'm going to start running. But instead of promising it to themselves or their wives who are, used to them constantly disappointing them, well, you get fatter every fucking year, dude. She's used to you disappointing her in this regard, right? They're kind of accountable to me, to this group, and to this idea that they're like, they're okay, let's get into this. And I think making this, if you're a gym, right? If you're a gym owner and you wanted to have this be, okay, we're going to meet at our gym Saturday morning, once a month, or the first Saturday of the month at this time. And these can turn into mini little open houses. It just gets people to your spot. You can also do it in other places in your community as well. All right, before I get into, let's get into the order before I get into how some of these other things I plan on doing to add value into this group to sell the other thing. Sequence, create an Instagram page. It has to be partnered with my personal page because that Instagram page created out of nowhere is worth fucking nothing to nobody and nobody will find it. So create an Instagram page, but everything I post now that you can create things as a collaborators, it goes both places. So if you're trying to launch this as a person or a business and you want to create a separate brand for it, which I think you should, right? I don't think if you're Steve's Fitness that it should be Steve's Fitness Running Club. I don't think so. I think you need to make this about your town, Steve Town or whatever town you live in here. I think that it does need to be based on your community, your area. This is local dads, local guys just trying to be better. But create the Instagram page, start doing exactly what I did, which is, all right, let me just chat GPT, spit out some images for me of some fat guys running and make it look fun. And that's what I start putting. And then I got to write copy. I wrote all my own copy for this because I'm at least familiar with it. If you're not familiar with the plight of the overweight men aged 30 to 60, you're probably in the wrong business, or you need to find, I don't know what to say. Like, you're going to have to learn to communicate to these people one way or another. So making this approachable, that's your next project. Okay. So when I write copy for this, it's an announcement, but it is all about making it welcoming and disarming. That's the main thing. Then we create a Facebook page for it. I wasn't going to do that, except the idea of us doing things in separate locations, and hopefully that this is a type of thing that goes on in many other places. I want to be able to create Facebook events, right, for these. A lot of communities, Facebook events are underused or over ignored, right? Here, Facebook events, nobody really posts anything in them. Our events thing is empty, and it's not because there's not stuff going on. It's just not really used. So it still is valuable for your community, I think, to be able to create an event that is our meetup. And here's your thing. And that you have to do that for a long time. When you have an event, you're going to have to do that in the beginning. You have to share it. You're going to have to share it within your group and on your personal shit and through your business. But you're going to have to spread that around a bunch. But that event page does give somebody the opportunity to commit, kind of. You know what I mean? And they can share it with their friends. I always make this bring a friend. That's how I'm at least starting this marketing thing for this. If I was doing this one step further, I still may, but I don't want to do it in March. I would run just some ads to the page. It's very easy now to boost some posts out of this page, so you can run some a $50 thing once a month to just your local community men. Yeah. Right. And just, you want a Slow Dudes Running Club, and that's it. And you can have your little ethos paragraph of what your philosophy is or what you're trying to accomplish in there. And that's really all you need, is just to get some eyes and interests and follows to that page. From there, it's just going to happen. Okay. we are going to require for at least this thing is it's 70, the buy-in is free, costs no money. Your dues got to be paid by your fucking feet. Okay. And that's not miles. It's not anything. It's just time. So 70 minutes a week. What happens if you only do 40 minutes a week? Nothing. I'm not punishing you,
Right.
but that's just like kind of, we all have kind of one goal, 70 minutes a week. And so that can be 10 or 10-minute runs a week. That can be 2 35-minute runs. It can be 1 70-minute, whatever it is. That's just the basic criteria that we're trying to do. But that's kind of how these things are getting spread around. What's interesting, this concept, once I've checked these boxes, it's probably one of the most shared around things that I've ever kind of made, meaning it resonates with people, that idea. It
Right.
resonates with guys. So once you ring that bell, it just keeps on ringing. So that's how I know we've got something decent here, that as long as we follow through on it, there's a lot of potential. Now, so go ahead, John.
Well, for me, like the idea of the events, what I like the most about that, outside of the fact that you actually can boost Facebook events.
Yes.
So you can actually boost the event itself. And so that like, I don't want to drag everybody too far into like the social media aspect, right? Tyler, you and I are really comfortable with social media. So of course, it's going to be a major part of our strategy to run some of these things and then put us in positions down the road where we may want to be able to throw money at it and do all those things. But it's the principle of the events that I like the most. And that is like actually the principle of the Slow Dudes Running Club, having a recurring event, having a reason to have something to talk about.
Yep.
And this goes into a larger strategy we talk with you all as personal trainers and as gym owners, where you want to have something to talk about. And so if you
something with a deadline.
Right.
Because that gives you the deadline gives you the ability to talk about the same thing, ever increasing frequency up until this date, which is like, hey, 2 more days, we're excited. Like if it's not that, you're just talking about your thing. And that's the problem a lot of gyms have when they don't do anything that is anything. There's nothing. You're just, there you are. There's a picture of my equipment. Look at us.
Always open.
Look at our exercisers exercising. Like if you don't do anything, it's really tough to present urgency as a concept. And this isn't even about urgency. It was like, oh, there is a thing happening. There's an event there. It gets closer, closer. So you're not wasting their time by just saying, look at me, look at me. This idea came because I needed to pepper some shit in with all the other stuff I'm doing. Because I have escalated my social media production on like posts somewhere between 3 and 8, 9 times a day to just see what that amount of saturation is. So I needed to find things to make it worthwhile. And in the process of coming up with more things to post that aren't just waste, right? I found this little idea that seems like it might be valuable. So this is why you want to be trying new things here. Now,
and it's just adjacent. And I like that.
Exactly.
Like, again, if I'm trying to like help zoom it out for you as the listener, where it may not be the Slow Dudes thing, right? But you may have a thing that's just adjacent, just outside of what you already do.
Fat Fucks Fight Club every Tuesday.
Right? Whatever it is, right? Yeah, I like that.
Let's go.
Sumo wrestling. But if you do whatever the thing is, it's just adjacent enough. So now you have another topic to talk about. And that's oftentimes that's just as valuable is now you've artificially created a new thing to be excited about. That's not our group classes, not our personal training, not you should eat better. Now it's like, hey, here's a new thing. And it's an activity. So now you get to manufacture community. And what I like again is we're going to, if you're able to go to the people, and why is it free? Why wouldn't you just charge people $5?
It's like, I'm not fucking, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. What expertise am I selling? First off, that's the main thing. Like, what value am I giving them? You know what I mean? What really am I doing? And the real reason it's free is this is all advertising for
Bingo.
what this really is. Everyone's talking about me and fitness and results and stuff. So every share that they get, it's still me. It's my voice. I haven't even put my picture. I may be on one of them, but that's, I like the idea of not having to have myself be front and center on all of this stuff, because I do put myself on a lot of shit. It sucks sometimes. If you're not built for that, it's like, it's a lot. You get tired of seeing your face and tired of talking about yourself and your opinions all the time, unless you're insufferable like me. So, but the idea of keeping it free is because there's opportunity in the end anyways for me to convert into other stuff. So this is a marketing expense any hour that I spend on this. And also, here's the other thing. it's a way for me to keep myself accountable to doing one of the things I wanted to do fitness wise this summer, which was run, spend more time outside in the sun, do it. And in the process, inspire other people and keep them moving forward. I also needed a place for guys that had finished some of my nutrition programs who are looking at getting more active but aren't quite ready to become gym guys. Okay, this is one more way to knock. I never thought I'd be a guy who likes running. No, I fucking don't mind running. And then they'll get more results and they'll get more confidence. And then they go, maybe I can become a gym guy. Maybe I can actually get jacked. Like those are seeds you want to plant in somebody's head that they're possible. And if you can't convince somebody that that's possible, you're not going to get them to take many further steps towards that end goal because they just don't think they're going to get there. It's all a wasted endeavor in their eyes.
Also, yeah, that's a fat fuck that's sitting across from you right now. But that might have been a cross country runner 30 years ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's also one of those weird things because like I've always been big. So running and soccer and anything like the running part of every sport I played was the worst part of the sport I played.
You and I were never runners.
No, never. But there's some people where it's like, dude, you're bigger than I am. But you used to be 130 pounds in high school. So it's like it actually is like more, again, it's one of those things where you park your judgment at the door, being like, listen, fatty, we're going to walk. We're going to jog.
This is a fitness version of on Old School when Frank the Tank comes out and just starts chugging beers and everything. It's like, oh, the old guy still got it in him. He's got a little youth in him. We're doing that minus the beer pong and, beer bongs and shit. And it's just like, you actually used to be all right at this. Like, fucking, let's reintroduce that guy to the world, please.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake. Now, of the opportunities that this presents, other things that I can do to deliver value into this, but also to let people know, the guys that are participating, I need to earn their trust. I need to make sure it's effective and get some results. And I want to make sure this thing is fun. So what I plan to do, and these are in no particular order, is at some of the meetups, every one of the meetups is going to be run. We're going to run for 35 minutes. I'll chat with them a little bit ahead of time. All right, I'll run through this process. Here's what's going to happen on meetups as far as I understand it. We have done 0 so far. We start in 4 weeks. But this is generally what I have planned for what we're going to do. We're all going to meet there. I'm going to tell everybody to meet there about 10 minutes before I plan on running. We're going to set the timer for 35 minutes once we're going to go run, because we can do one of those runs with a group a week, and you can do one of those on your own, or you can split it into the other portion. That way we take a bite out of half of our weekly requirement on that 1 week. Or I need to explain to all of them why I want to run slow and why you should run slow. Because so many guys, when they think they want to start running, they go, I've watched this guy. He ain't no way he's listening to this show. But I watched this guy. He's an overweight guy by about 80 pounds. And once a year on Facebook, he'll start posting like, went out trying to run 2 miles. I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get back to the same time I had when I was in the army. And it like sucks. And he's dying. And he's like trying to run for speed 2 miles. And it blows, dude. And it's like this terrible thing. It's like, what if you just decide you can run for 30 minutes? Mm-hmm. And then you can run, once you get used to that, you can run for 30 minutes and not die. Then you can run a little faster for 30 minutes. And then you can run a little bit faster than that for 30 minutes and still not die. And then somewhere in there, you might cross over the 2 mile mark. And then you're able to run 2 miles and not die. Then you can worry about running 2 miles fast. But, when I first started doing this, it was for kickboxing. And it was really to see that the idea of running for a lot of martial arts, I think, is dumb, except for the sport of kickboxing and me as a bigger guy. I needed to know, can I do 5 3-minute rounds or 3 5-minute rounds of just being on my feet, being active, light on my feet, moving, stepping, going in, going out. That's harder than throwing kicks and defending yourself. Most guys can't just do that for 15 minutes, actually. Just be lively on your feet, skip around, jump, step, just move with a little pep in your step for 15 minutes. That's why I went running. It's not to cover the distance. It's not even for the heart. That's all part of it. But it's like I kind of need to actually get my legs and feet and everything to have a little bounce and condition to be able to just simply participate in a thing poorly for this amount of time, because that's the prerequisite. So I want to make sure that the guys know that that's the goal, and we're staying in that, your zone 2 or whatever. So I tell everybody, if you want to stride out and go, right, you can go 20 minutes one way, and then turn around and come back for 20 minutes. Or what I would prefer that you do, kind of bop around, you pass some guys, make conversation. Okay, that's your absolute measuring tool. Is can you talk to the person next to you while you're running? If you cannot, you're going too fast. Slow down, buddy up, let somebody drift off, catch up, whatever. That's why I think the first one that I do, I'm actually going to probably do it. It's going to be the worst way to run, I believe it, but like at a track, so that we're all on the same 400 meters. It's going to be, and I can explain that, like, yeah, this part kind of sucks. We'll do a road or a trail, like a bike path type run or a rec trail run, but not the first time. I want you guys to get a feel for this. So some guy might lap you, and they might come around and slow down for a little bit, chat, and that way you kind of have people you can shit talk with and whatever. So that's what I want to do for kind of day one, is to get to that, right? Take a group photo, post about it, make sure the guys are all sharing it, tag them in it, and off it goes. Okay, that'll go into the world. Next time we come around, we'll do some other stuff. But the opportunities then that this opens up, for me as a personal trainer, I would like to have us do runs that start and end at a place that is significant. One of them might just be the grocery store. So today we're gonna do this, and then let's walk through. Like, if you guys want to stick around afterwards, I'm gonna walk through. I'm gonna show you like how I shop for this stuff, like what I avoid, whatever. And if it's, let's be honest, guys, I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere here. There might be 5 guys if I'm lucky the first time. So it's not. If there's 30, yeah, maybe that's a little weird. But then at that point, you've got a goddamn army with you. Who's gonna stop you? An army of fucking just
a big
beef,
fat army,
just a beef army, man.
Freak everybody out.
But that's one of the things, and this isn't probably on the short list for the first couple weeks, but that's one of the things that I think I would like to be able to do, which is let's talk about how we can keep our calories low. And I can this is all shit I talk about for free on social media anyways. I can just do a quick little grocery store walkthrough where it's like, here's like the basics. If you're just eating this and this and this, like, you get by pretty good. And when you have a dude surrounded by dudes talking to you about eating like a dude, which is like, oh, do you need your frozen chicky nuggies? Can you just fucking, it's summertime. Put the meat on the grill. Eat the meat. Like, this is, what else are we, and from there we can do things like a grill out afterwards, or we can meet at the fitness center, at a gym, which is, let's do our run for 35 minutes. And let's stop in and just do like a fun, like silly, just bro pump shit. Like, let's just get like chest pump. Let's just do that for, 15 minutes, 20 minutes after we're done while we got a sweat on. Let's let it rip. Who cares? But now they get this idea and they feel welcome there. Any gym is going to be stoked about it. If it's your gym, if you own a gym, it should be your gym. Right? First off, you can do that and stop at a rock climbing wall. Again, we have that 35 minutes to run. And we got about a half an hour, 20 minutes to socialize or do whatever afterwards. And I think that is a really, really solid strategy, that you could go for a run and come back to your gym and have somebody grilling burgers for you. By the time right by the time you get back, you can sell supplements out of the fucking trunk of your car if you want to. I don't know how you want to go about it, but for me, at some point, I got to find a way to balance this, because it's just the way I do it. We will definitely be starting and finishing at a bar at some point. Like, that's what day drinking is, way drinking is supposed to be done for fitness. So that idea of like, and I always do, and I will say this too, I always understand the plight of people who don't drink alcohol who are getting into fitness, and then that it frustrates them when people are like whiskey and deadlifts, or the gym goes to the bar and stuff like this. But yeah, because I have clients who have gotten sober and it's been a big part of their weight loss stuff, I understand that. But dudes like to do dude stuff, and none of them are judging every person in their life for liking to have some beers on a Saturday with a bunch of men after they go running. Like, I feel like that's a solid trade, and that's an activity that is very inherently masculine, and likely for these guys that are overweight and live here, that's how they got overweight. So this is what we call balance. This is how we balance the arch.
What I like, though, is that you're taking people into areas that they're normally going to probably go to anyway. Because even if you take a guy that doesn't drink, right? So whether they don't drink at all, they never have, or they're multiple years sober or newly sober, and it's kind of part of their ability to still, if they're capable, right? Obviously, like if it's too much of temptation, they need to know not to go the fuck.
If you're still fresh, if you're still fresh fresh on the wagon, you can
but,
sit this one out.
But it is valuable also to go in and being like, all right, if I am with my boys, or if I am going to do this, how can I do it the right way? Like if you're going to drink, what's the best way to drink? Because I just know, like, there's a lot of things that we take as common sense, but I just know, like, regular people, how many calories
Jack
are in
Coke? Give me the fucking heaviest beer and that type of stuff. You're like, all right, here's how I do it, guys. And I think that's an opportunity to teach, right? You can teach. I think they call this in the drug use space. This is what do they call it? Harm reduction. This is
the most lethal dose.
This is harm reduction, which is you want a day drink so that you don't cut into your sleep too much. Also, drink on an empty stomach because then you're not drinking as many calories and you don't have the calories there. And, so this is all bad advice. Good dudes, bad advice. That's kind of the way I'm treating this whole thing. That's it. You know.
But here's also, you and I spent some time over the summer, a couple years back, and we were at a party with a bunch of big dudes. We're all there, and there was a guy there that wasn't drinking.
Yeah,
but he was piss pounding.
Oh my God, what was it?
High octane ginger ale.
So like sugary. So, like these were 24 ounce frosty mugs of ginger ale. John, you and I were trying to do the math on that. They were like, it's like 450 calories for that mug, right?
Oh yeah, he had to put away. 4 of them. Yeah, by the end of the night, he had to put away at least 3,000 calories of ginger ale. So it's.
Yeah.
But understand
harm reduction, y'all.
Yeah. So it's like, what do I drink then? If I don't drink, but I'm going to go out with my friends, what's something I can get? Which is, bitch, understand what seltzer water is. Like there's some of these pieces, but if you're just
soda is something right here. Yeah. Light beer. Keep it light.
And I would love to be able to, like, you're going to go to a bar and you already have talked to the bartender beforehand and be like, listen, we're going to do a little demo first. I want a tall boy of Busch, a tall boy of Busch Light. And then I want, vodka and then vodka and Diet Coke or whatever it's going to be. And you have this breakdown where you can be like, hey, understand what the calories are in these things.
Yeah.
Because for me, it is, you're not going to take away the fact that there's going to be Saturdays where I'm going to drink 25 beers. So for me, it was like that's a thing that I'm going to do if I'm outside all day, it's hot and I'm in the yard. That's what's happening. There's a lot of dudes that are that way. Fucking save your judgment.
Yeah.
But here's what you want to do. Yeah. But should it be 25 Guinness or should it be 25 Bud Light? Like, that's a huge fucking difference. It's massive. But most dudes aren't thinking about that until a real dude says, listen, you're going to piss pound beer. I'm not worried about that.
Be about it.
Separate conversation. How do we do it the right way?
And these give you also opportunities to grow this platform, okay, the club platform, into your other platform by leveraging these places that you do this. Bar that you go to, if you want to have this demo, you're going to talk to them ahead of time. You're going to encourage them to share this event that you're doing anyways. It's going to start and end at their spot. Well, they got a much bigger audience than my silly little running club that's existed on Facebook for 2 hours. You know what I mean? It's been on Instagram for a couple of weeks, but you know what I mean? This is how you can really grow that a bunch. And if you treat this like a feeder program, treat it like a nonprofit community outreach organization. Okay, where you are out there trying to help people in your community get a little better, but it also converts tons of them into, because it's not just based on low income, it's just guys that don't know where to start. So it converts all of them into truly what your target demographic is, which is not age and overweight and whatever. It's age, overweight, and willing to start and have the confidence to take a big step now. They have momentum. Because if someone is willing or is overweight and in the right age and kind of connects with you as a person or as an individual or whatever it is that you do, but they're not ready to start and they don't have any momentum, it's really tough to get people momentum. Okay. And if you're trying to do that via just marketing and advertising, it's hard. It's really hard. The other thing with this is other fitness opportunities, whether it is stand-up paddleboarding or whether you want to do something out at a lake or rock climbing or something like this, or you can just do the run and be done some weeks. That's totally okay too. Like, not everything has to be a whole thing, because some guys aren't going to want all of that either. But look for opportunities in this to get yourself, your business, and this group further entrenched into your community, because the opportunities for this then truly become endless. It really does. Like, go to your, I don't say this because most of them suck, but go to your local like Shake Shack thing. Get a protein shake, but show them what not to get a little bit first. Like, here's what we actually want. I want double scoops of protein, none of your other bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? There's ways to do this, and I think that you have. So let's just check these boxes. We got some sort of fitness thing, like a gym thing. We have a grocery store situation. We got a boozy excursion. Maybe we have you know, so I'll call it rock climbing or something adjacent to that here. And now you're looking at 4 or 5 weeks, or 4 or 5. If that's once a month, by the way, let's say we're going to do meetups once a month. That's 4 or 5 months. That's all your outdoor running season around here.
Yeah.
By the way, so you're good. And then your content in the middle, in between, when you're trying to market this and post around, is you're going to be sharing it when guys check in. If guys are doing their own thing, and you ask them to tag your stuff when they're paying their dues every week, you know, send us your dues if you're out there. And then you can always repost that. And now people are seeing men out there doing the thing and being excited about it and being a part of this community. And it's not just me saying there's a community. Okay.
Right.
This will spread so much faster. So you always have those check-ins in between, and then you can have some other asks. I didn't even cover, like we said, you do a barbecue. If you're a gym owner, you do that barbecue at your gym. A lot of these things can end back at your gym. You can have a meeting, you can have a nutritionist come and speak for 20, 30 minutes on just like, give me just the 10 most basic shit that you recommend everybody start with. That might be basic rules, right? Just all the things that you could do or say, but you can just bring in somebody else who would like to have exposure to your audience and let them rock.
Yeah.
So the opportunities for this, as far as networking, is probably, I think, actually better for a group like this than it is for you as a gym.
Hands down.
I'm not expecting anything in return, but when these guys are ready, I am the one that they're following. I am the one who could say, I do this. If you're looking, guys will come up and they'll go, hey, but John, I get asked when I go out about personal training all the time, people that don't ever follow up. But that's okay. That means they know what I do, and it means they want it. It just means they don't want it bad enough. Okay. But the idea of nutrition coaching, one-on-one training, if people know that you do that, when they're around you and they want to make talk with you about this thing, that's the thing that they're going to talk about. So this is a massive lead generation tool, but it's not lead generation for lead generation's sake. Not at all. And it's the secondary thing. Like I said, this started because I was like, I got to get out. I didn't run much last summer. That's the reality of it. I just didn't run a ton last summer. So I got a little bit out, did a little cycling, but I kind of just dropped the ball. And I was like, I need to make sure I do that.
You fucked your knee up.
Was that a year ago now? Or was that 2 years ago?
Like your knee was fucked up.
You're right. It was a year ago in February.
To give you an excuse, yeah, but you fucked yourself up.
Yeah, I blew it up.
Good.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe that's it. But I didn't think I don't know. I trained the whole time, and I was doing just. I don't remember. Was it?
I think you exploded your knee at one.
Yeah, that's where I'm not in the excuse space. By the way, I could have ran last year. I was fine. I did lots of other shit. You know what I mean? I was fighting every day of the week. So it's what. But that's what I mean. Is this started from that thing? It's like, great. Now let me explain this concept to you guys that I was about to get into. Sometimes for me to be able to make myself do things that I want them to do in the fitness space, I have to make it my whole thing. I am not built to go work 9 to 5 and then come home get in my car with my gym bag packed and fucking go to the gym and then work hard for an hour and a half and then run home and clean up and then it's very hard for me to do all, like, what am I going to go work out at 5 a.m. like a psycho? This is why I have so much respect for people that have to make fitness and health, make time for fitness, health, good habits, activities, etc. around all of these other obligations. You got like 3 kids, after school activities, fucking like a big job, like a real job. That's fucking hard. Like, it's hard. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. I cannot do that. So the first thing I did when I started getting into fitness was slowly walling off things in my life that were not fitness. Okay.
Sure.
So it was like once we had plans, I stopped working till 7, 8 at night. I want to be off by 5 o'clock so I can go to 5:30. Go train by 5:30, and then I wanted that by 4:30 actually. And then that was that, and then that worked until I wanted to open a gym, and then I made them both work until I got rid of the day job altogether. And then at that point, like, I am in a gym all day. I can work out whenever It's my schedule. I'm always there. I can get little 30-minute workouts in here or there, get a pump, get a little cardio in. There's still time to run and do stuff with the kids. Like that is the way that I have to do things for me to stay engaged, jacked. I can't kind of do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just like all these other things, if I'm going to try to make time to run, perfect. I need some of the components that anything needs to be successful in regards to habits. Is I need some accountability. And this is almost a way for me to just be publicly accountable. It's like, great, I made this thing. Now I have to do it. Perfect. Right. It's no different than if I paid somebody $10,000 to coach me for running all summer. Right. I'm on the hook to this fucking guy. Well, great. Well, now I made this whole thing and I'm going to look like an absolute idiot if I just stop doing this. You know what I mean? And this forces me to see these things through while also giving me opportunity. So we used to work for an organization, John, that did this in all the worst ways, which is these guys would promise that they're about to do a competition next year. I think I'm going to get back into strongman. I think I'm going to start doing jiu-jitsu. I'm doing a powerlifting meet so-and-so next year. And then they never did them ever, ever, ever. It was always something right around the corner that never fucking happened. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm not about that life at all, dude. That shit, there's nothing that makes me more disappointed than someone who's not a man of their word. Okay. And you're just lying. It's like children lying. Like, I think I'm going to go to the fucking Mars. Okay. Whatever. Like this lofty shit that they had no intentions of doing. It's just like they want to be the person that is that person. So all you got to do is say it publicly and people will think it. And nobody circles back around to see, oh, you never actually followed up on any of that shit you said you're going to do. Right. Well, I'm on team B about it. Okay. And so this is how I am about it. This is how I make sure that I'm not a bitch and I don't walk away from it. I can force myself to do these things and it keeps me in the game. The lifetime fitness journey is a lot of things, John. Okay. For a guy at my age, what's more interesting than a guy? Well, there's a lot more interesting. That's a hyperbolic statement. It is interesting, I think, for me as a guy who's, 285-pound big guy to decide he's going to start running. Okay? And this is not competitive running. It's just, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm just going to do it. I think that's compelling enough. I think it's inspiring enough. And I think if there's people that aren't as huge and injured as I am, and they think that they can run like they should, because there's fucking big giant fucks just lumbering around there slow as shit. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay. It allows me to send a little bit of inspiration your way. For one of the main reasons I started training jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and MMA at 38 years old. It was like, I came to terms with the fact that I don't know how to fucking fight. I don't know any of it. I'm not tough. I might look it, but I'm not it. So let's be about it. Let's not be on team talk about it. Let's just do it. And let's go in and know that we suck. And let's just start from the bottom and start doing the work. Doing that in any of the things that you do, I think is where I think that endears yourself to people a lot. It can probably be really annoying to people who don't particularly like you or that goes in the face of what I mean is as far as engagement on the internet goes, that goes in the face of someone who's sitting on their ass not trying to accomplish anything, right? And,
for sure.
But don't worry about that if you think you're doing bunches of different things and you're talking about them all the time. And don't worry about the people that were never going to give you any money at all. Let them unfollow you. But that concept, if you have the experience of constantly trying new things and really committing to them and getting the best, the most that you can out of them for the right amount of effort, right? 80-20 rule, right? You can do a little bit of effort. If you're doing no cardio and you start running a couple times a week, that is the single most bang for your buck that you will get out of any hour of cardio that you will do is the first hour. Okay. Right. Your 9th, 10th, 20th hour of cardio in a week, fucking tiny little increments of progress at that point, right? So this is how you get the most. If you don't do any strength training and you lift weights, you don't got to work that hard, but you lift weights a little bit 3 times a week. Holy shit. So this is what I mean is you can give people with this habit, this thing that we're doing by trying a new thing and fully committing, you can really inspire people to try new things that are around health. And we're going to do this, and everything that they try will be very impactful because they're not doing it. And that can be any number of things, whether it's fucking yoga or cycling or bike riding or whatever it is. That is, I think, that's the most valuable thing that I can teach people who want to lose weight, keep it off, and get healthy. It's not lift weights and only lift weights. That's like too narrow. Like that's not gonna capture everybody. But it's like try something that's moving, do it. And if you don't like it or can't seem to stick to it, that's okay. then go try the next thing. Continue trying stuff. If you're doing some amount of movement, some amount of effort in getting better at something every week, you're better than not. And I think that's like the center concept for what we talk about with someone's lifetime fitness journey anyways, is your business, your gym, you as a coach needs to embody that, and it needs to allow for people to have opportunities within their lifetime fitness journey to do business with you. The more opportunities you create for them to have a new experience and try something new that you're attached to, the longer they're with you, the longer they're paying you.
And the better in shape they are, the more doors are open to them.
Yeah.
Like the more stuff you can do. The thing that I like the most about this is I love that it aligns with something you already kind of personally wanted to do. I wanted to get back to this and do this better. And then you be about it, make it really public. Now it's like, all right, now I got to go do this thing because this is now holding me accountable. But what I like about it the most is how many leads do you get when you are training someone at the box gym or at a regular 24-hour gym during the busy hours compared to the not busy hours? If you're going to train a client, Tyler.
Way more during the busy hours. Of course.
And
people are seeing you doing the thing.
And that was, for me, that's what I like the most about it, because I love the idea of being about it. But this is a thing where I feel like a lot of you gym owners and a lot of personal trainers, you don't get seen. You're not participating in your community in a way that you need to. And this is where you could get a client and they're going to pay you $10,000, Tyler, for the summer, and you're going to train them. But now what people are going to see, and let's say it's for running. Let's say you're now a running coach. You're going to be outdoors. And you're going to do this whole thing. Well, you're now working with one person. People will see you, and that might generate some conversations. But compare that to the same level of opportunity, because now we're kind of stacking lots of easy ways for people to do business with you once the trust has been established. But now compare that to now you are in public with 10 other dudes, 15 other dudes. And now that starts, you see a wall of, like we joked about, but a wall of meat that is now doing this thing. You thought you were getting questions before. So this level of networking and public facing type of activity, it's just like exponential in the leads that it will generate because of the network. And that really is where I'm driving, which is you're putting yourself in a position to network at a much higher level, because all the years that we've talked with gym owners and talked with personal trainers, old school networking seems to be this is lost. And it might be an older skill, but the idea of getting out and participating in, and I'm not that I'm high on hanging off the nuts of like a chamber of commerce, but that concept of like doing business, talking with business owners, being at the event. What's the fucking summer extravaganza thing?
You're just delivering value
there?
too. Like
Correct.
That's the big thing. You're not just there going, hi, I'm me. Do you like me? It's like, no, I'm bringing 15 dudes in here. They all put them back. We're drinking today. Have some of these things up so I can do this demo thing. And please help promote this stuff. And maybe we'll do it again. Like, it's great for them. It's great for you. Everybody wins. The other side of this too is I want to go to an opportunity that this creates is, what is this specific thing? You want to do a powerlifting club or whatever. It's a bit more, but what should this culminate in? And I don't know that this has to have an end goal, but there might be an opportunity towards the end of summer is like, you guys want to do a 5K?
Right. Oh yeah.
Just as a crew, fuck it. Let's find a thing. Let's, and by the way, let's raise extra money for this thing, because most of them are charitable anyways. So let's all pay for our stuff and let's put our hat out there. Let's do it. Let's find a way to really contribute to this thing. And now you got a whole crew of dudes who they're not doing it because I'm asking them to, or doing it for a cause. And now that's even better. And that mobilizes people much better than any ask I'm going to make for them. It's also going to mobilize them a ton, and it's going to inspire a lot of people to do it. Now, we have seen this, however, this concept, this running club, implemented in gyms in a way that sucks or is just a bit misguided. We worked at the gym one time. They had a coach who wanted to do a running program. And I thought, actually, that's great. It's great. And it was going to culminate in them doing like a 10K or a half marathon or something like this. Except the program wasn't running. We're not running together. We're not really giving you a thing. It was strength training for runners, which is again, not a bad idea, assuming you have just a lot of runners there. That's a separate program, though. That's not bringing people into your gym. It was a concept we couldn't push back against it because it checked enough of the boxes for us, and we couldn't understand their market within their gym. It's like, okay, we'll start to sell that internally. That's an internal facing program, right? All right, see how many of your people want to strength train for running, and then they can do a community event together. But it was mostly just a class that was for type of,
Right.
you already have classes. It just seemed misguided, and it seemed like a coach just wanted to have a pet program. They kind of saw dollar signs when they thought that they could, and it had no value, no interest. Nobody wanted it. The thing fell fucking flat on its face because it was more about money than actually helping people. It was more about, honestly, like a cloud of being respected as the expert on here's how you should train in this way to run, but I don't actually run. And I'm going to tell you one other thing about CrossFit gyms and CrossFit people, which is the context this is in. They like running about as much as they like bench press. Okay. They don't bench press. You've seen CrossFitters' chests. I'm just kidding. No, you haven't, because they don't have any. And they don't like running. It's the least favorite part of them. Though they all like to do a lot of sizzly shit. You go have them run a 5K for workout, and they will all bitch. Even the fittest ones, even the ones who run, will somehow bitch and moan. So like, it's just not a thing that I would try to sell internally. That's all.
Right.
It's just it's on its own. It just doesn't have that. Now, if I had a gym and this project that we're working on here, I would absolutely open it up to my gym members. But I'm also not trying to sell this thing. Okay? Everybody who contributes a check-in about their run is paying me with attention, giving me content that I can resell. It gives me opportunities to check back in about their experience. I want reviews from people as well. I'm going to collect some information, and so that way I can get people talking about their experience. It allows me to market to them directly as well. Personally, I want phone numbers for everybody who's there. I want to make sure they have access to me, and not to blow me up and waste my time, because like that's what I want. I want to be able to build a real thing out of this. And there's more opportunities in a simple club, powerlifting club, fucking, I don't know what else is to be honest with you. This is a one track thing, but you have your thing, right? It's not, you can do this thing if you want, those of you that are listening, but you have your thing. And what is that? Okay, what's the real thing that you're interested in that might be able to provide some value to the people in your place? Maybe it's just maybe you get a bike ride together every Sunday or whatever. That's totally fine too. Like there's bike to the grocery store, show some motherfuckers how to eat, get some coffee, and fucking bike around back, or whatever it is you want to do. There is something that you have that you can generate some interest and generate some camaraderie and what's the word, hype around within your community, while also giving value. It gives you the opportunity to like display your skills in regards to teaching, compassion, empathy, the things that actually matter. They think you know what you're talking about, and they think that you care about them. That is pretty much the two boxes I try to check while I'm trying to sell somebody. If they know that I know what I'm talking about, they know that I can get them where they want to go, and they know that I care enough to actually make sure that they'll get there, that's done deal. Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need for marketing. That's all the trust, the foundation of trust, and the opportunity that they're looking to achieve. It's all built into that concept. So you start there. Whatever those things are for you, build that out there. Go forth and be excellent.
And if you're a gym owner, you can start this discussion with your coaches. Don't give up the ghost, right? Don't say like, well, we're going to turn this into a program and it's going to help lead generate for the gym and blah, 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 blah. You're getting out over your skis. But what you want to do is you want to just present the thought process, which is what are fun community activities that's aligned with what you guys like to do? If you don't know your people well enough, it's simple as like, you just know in the back of your mind, I'm going to ask this person today, what do they like to do for fun? Because if I don't know my staff well enough, then you get an idea. What are the things? Because, you know, if we've talked about this before, but it's, if you're a gym that targets youth athletes and you've got personal trainers and coaches in your gym, it's go plug them in to go help coach one of your local youth league sports teams.
Yeah.
It's the same premise, right? It's the same concept, which is now in the community, going to the people where they are, all those things, empathy, the ability to communicate, the ability to care. You're building all that trust and all that great rapport. And then the same exact thing. Now you're going to have the activity for the end of the season is going to be at the gym. You're going to get people there. You're going to be around. Like it's all of this, just again, old school style networking that is now putting you into the community to create these new opportunities to get people to see you, and more importantly, see the people that you work with. And again, those are things that I really like, which again, I see people running all the time. They look like runners.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll see somebody who does not
See a
look
big
like a
dog.
runner
Yeah.
and be like, man, look at him. He's getting after it. And
one thing too, John, with this is I have the opportunity now to have people that have already worked with me or already reinforced into this program, right? Some of my guys that have lost weight over the years on nutrition program, or that have been following my advice and have just lost some weight, or my personal training clients that have gotten good results. They will also be there in this stuff, which means there's people, what's the word? There's
plants.
plants. I was
Plants in
literally
there.
going to say, like, this is like how the FBI
Stacking the deck.
make sure that there's these are agent provocateurs. if you will.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly what it
These
is.
are, I have people planted in here that are not, it's not malicious, and they're not in on it, but they trust me and like me, and their experience with me has changed their life. So when these conversations start coming up, there'll be guys who are like, oh, it's 100 pounds on his diet stuff. Like, that's what I really want, is I just want to get the guys that have had the best results able to be around and speak to the people that want to achieve those results. And that still is my best marketing. If I have somebody who's like, oh, what is the program like, your weight loss program or whatever, I would much rather just send them a screenshot of one of my guys who's like, oh, dude, it's the best experience I've ever had. Or I would really like to have some guys that I could just have them give calls. Like, you want references? Call this guy right now.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, dude, what the fuck? Do it. What are you, stupid? You know what I mean? And that's way better than me saying, what are you, stupid? Do it. But it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And so that concept of having these people rubbing shoulders against each other is really great. You'll have people planted in there that are going to.
Do you, all of you that are listening, have you noticed the amount of science that we've gotten into on the benefits
running?
of slow running?
Fuck no.
Have we talked about the metabolic boost and fat utilization and how we can work on? No.
Yeah. John, this is the same approach, by the way. This is a more leveled up approach than just my monthly challenges that I've been running this year so far, right? We did the egg whites thing. I think we talked about it on the show before, right? Did we talk about it?
I don't know if we have. Let's touch on it because it's all tied together.
So I do a challenge. I just put it on my own social media, which is let's try to eat a half carton to a carton of egg whites every day. Why? Because it's very filling, it's very high in protein, it's very low in calories. So if you're fucking chock full on those, and you can find ways to make them not boring, those are all good skills. And you'll be too full to be eating garbage all the time. So that idea is something that I just kind of rolled out. Now it's almost possible to get egg whites in my town this month. And so in response to that, instead of having a focus be on another food item or something this next month, I'm doing a little bait and switch here. February is fasting. So the goal is I tell all these motherfuckers not to eat, so then I can finally get my egg whites and my keto ones, because none of them are out here trying to snatch them up because there's not this big emphasis on it. But the fasting thing, again, for me, much like this running thing, I'm having so fasting in February. We're having guys just try some 24-hour fasts. The goal, there's no real requirement, but experience multiple 24-hour fasts where you learn to feel what it's like to not be actually hungry. You feel nice when you're not digesting food all day, to also know that you won't die. And you'll know that all of that is mental. And that's the main thing for me with the 24-hour fast is behavioral. Also would like for guys doing the challenge to try one 48-hour fast or longer. Like push it at least once. Try a 48 or 72 hour. Just see what it's like. You'll be fine. Or don't. Like I said with all this, or don't. But even with the fasting stuff, I said very specifically when I'm, issuing these challenges to the larger audience is that I am not even going to pretend to be smart enough to know the science on this, whether it's bullshit or whether this study, well, this one didn't actually control for this. This is like, okay, fine. I don't care. The lessons that I want people to learn are behavioral and habitual. Those are the real benefits from this, is changing habits, learning a new way to be, and reinforcing those habits positively. While they will get you closer to your goals of weight loss. So all of the stuff around fasting, the big main benefits, I had some like hippie yoga people that were commenting on stuff like, oh, it's also great for your brain, and then autophagy and this and that, and it's cool. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And I honestly, like, I actually have listened to tons and tons of podcasts on the subject, and I have watched hundreds of hours. By the way, when you do a 72-hour fast, a 2 or 3 day fast, like, it's the only thing that you can do is obsess over fasting during that time. There's nothing to eat. You don't get to do anything, and your brain is busy. And so you're just constantly watching fasting videos. Like, they're telling you how awesome your body's being right at this moment. That's all I would do is obsess. But again, I'm not smart enough to know what's real and what's bullshit. People are telling me lots of things about it, and I don't. But I do know that these lessons are valuable to learn, and that it probably won't kill you. I don't know. Some of these people saying stuff for doctors, but I say always, I don't fucking know anything about the science. So do this or don't. I do not care. And that's the big thing about running and the way that we're running. This running club thing is not about like this, like burning calories shit. John, I go run for an hour at the pace I'm running 15-minute miles, dude. Like, if I go run for a half an hour, I am burning. No, can we look this up? Can I do the calorie math?
While you're doing the calorie math, I'm going to let you do it because so you don't know this because Tyler's not on X or Twitter, but we are. The show is, and it's at the Gym Owners Podcast, except it does miss the T. So, but you'll get close enough because the handle was too long. Literally today, we reposted and shit on an article that was posted on this exact topic, as a matter of fact, where it was Men's Health Magazine, which, take it or leave it, said, how many calories can you burn on your daily walk? And that was an entire article that was dedicated to it. And all we said is, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Are we really talking about the benefits of going on a daily walk is how many calories you can burn?
And is that a time equation where that's worth it? Because look at anything else other than walking. That's probably more bang for your buck if that's the math we're trying to do. Mine, John, me as a 285-pound man, and maybe this doesn't account for the super stacked amount of muscle mass I carry for the unreal. I'm just joking. But like, I'm guessing this is probably not figuring for like a very high metabolic load, like the amount of muscle I have would be. But I will go at this math and I will hold this on 100 calories a mile. What it says for a 285-pound man.
Devastating.
Trust me, you take my fucking ass and make me go run for. I ran 2.5 miles the other day in 35 minutes, John. So that is 250, and realistically, it could be up to 150, or let's say 250 to 350 calories. A guy my size running every day to get into a 300 to 500 calorie deficit is a lot of wear and tear and a lot of commitment and time. It is not worth it. That's not what this is. What I want is a sweat. What I want is a new thing in my routine that I'm making time for. What I want this to create for people is camaraderie around fitness, attention on fitness. Okay. Your attention as men, I'll narrow up the scope of this conversation a little bit. Our attention as men in this world is very valued. Look at the weird shit that gets thrown in your algorithms on Instagram and shit. Like stuff that they're not trying to, obviously there's the OnlyFans stuff or whatever where it's all kind of, but there's also just weird, thirsty shit that I won't get into. That's just like not even trying to sell me anything. It's just trying to get me to look at it for longer. It's like they're just trying to harvest your loosh, you know? And so all it is sitting there and as a man, if you're mad, if you're whatever, your attention is very sought after. I'm sure women, it's the same way, but don't you mad about politics, mad about the people that disagree with you on the other side of the fence. They want you angry and horny and scared
as much as possible.
I think that's the three things that whatever is out there in the universe really needs us to be, because boy, is that really put out in front of us. So if I can make these guys have some of that energy pointed towards something constructive, for Christ's sake, that's a big net gain. Because if you spend most of your time as a man who's already overweight, just on like fucking social media, politics, and porn, and like, you know, and then just chasing obligation and working, well, there's just not a lot of room for fucking hope and optimism and being positive and progress. It's just not there. That pathway is not lit in front of you. So that's the real goal with this, is I want people to have an opportunity to like fucking like, oh, that felt good. Those guys were nice. It wasn't just running and being slower than everybody and feeling miserable. It's like, oh, it was nice. What are you guys doing later? You know, it's, if I keep wording it that way, it's going to be like, it's actually the lonely dudes running club, fat lonely dudes running club, but it's all that too. So it's the social aspect of it is the same thing that makes CrossFit and fitness stuff work. Except I'm not trying to monetize this part. You're just using it to, you know, scratch enough people together, inspire some people to take the next step. And where would that next step be? I bet I get to direct what their ideas are. You know, it works really well. So we'll keep you posted as this goes on, but yeah, we like to keep people in the loop about the stuff that we're trying, the things we're working on. I'm sure, John, there's no way this is like original to like as a concept. There's plenty of gyms in the world that are doing such a thing. But this is the one that we're doing. So this is the one I'm going to talk.
And if you've got questions, I guarantee, Tyler, if you're a gym owner, you're a personal trainer, you have questions about this or ideas, like send Tyler a message, ask it out. There's a reason why we put it out, is because there is, for us, it is that ripple effect that we're always looking for. You're not going to revolutionize the fitness industry if we're not all collectively trying to do this. This shouldn't be something that's all being coming from like top down and is being ran on like a national scale.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make this into Slow Dudes Running Club HQ, but I would love if there was 50 of them operating under the name. I think that would be great, as long as the ethos is the same. You know, and if you don't want to be attached to whatever, I promise, as long as if you use this name, though, I'm going to be like, well, it's kind of my idea. Do my thing or fuck off. But we'll make up your own name.
And have a conversation, because that's what we've done with lots of things over the years, where we're thinking about a thing, it's closely adjacent enough to where we reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I really like this concept. And if you're close with people, it's, hey, am I cool to kind of play with this concept or go down this path? And then if it's something where in the back of your mind, it's like, I would like to have something like this or something similar to what we do. These are the things that we get to when we get real granular with gyms, being like, well, what are you doing? What are things that you're doing to keep your coaches engaged, keep your personal trainers engaged? And we go through this exact thought process. We're just now sharing how the sausage is made from a personal training perspective of how can you start to get out into your community, do good first and foremost, that will help people get results and start to change their lives, that also has some commercial benefits down the road. Because if you can get great results and have people have success, then that should equal dollars in your pockets. And if that's not happening, it just means you got something crossed. Something's not happening in the order that's supposed to.
And a lot of it too is time, right? I'm setting a lot of expectations on opportunities and attendance and things like this that are based on zero data, right? And what is this first season going to be? I don't fucking know. It's probably going to be less than the second one. The issue is you get through this first one and then you don't do it the second time. And then you're like, it didn't really work. Like all things, you got to give them a chance, and nothing blows up day one. It just doesn't happen. I don't know. But I think that like all things, it needs commitment and consistency. And so if someone's heard of you doing your thing for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, this fucking Slow Dudes Running Club been around, and the guys who start in there often end up like, now they're gym guys, and then they still kind of come back and help with the running group stuff and are around. Like, you built a really big, cool thing. It helps a ton of people. And then all roads lead to you, your gym, your business, your training, your coaching, your services, all of this stuff. So fucking get to it, man. It's the goddamn mission. It's the revolution. Make sure you follow the show at Gym Owners Revolution on Instagram, and also Gym Owners Podcast, minus the T. So if I leave, that's what it's called. Podcast, no T.
No T. All the T is gone.
It's a low T podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Gym Owners Revolution on Facebook, Gym Owners Podcast, Twitter, X, and follow John at JBanksFL on Instagram, and me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. Links in the description if you want us to work with you directly on any of these projects, or work with you directly one-on-one for your business with custom action plans, accountability, execution, all the things based on the things your gym needs right now, your next right step, and the execution of those next right steps. You can email us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.